Tom Pelissero was here before. I believe he joined you across the way on NFL Network's coverage of the Chargers camp on Wednesday. He said that what he picked up from being in Chiefs camp is how much faster a team the Chiefs are on offense. Obviously, you and I sitting in the booth watching Xavier Worthy having a record-setting moment at the Combine 40-yard dash says it all there. But he just said overall, do you think the Chiefs' offense can actually go back to the Tyreek Hill, take the top of the defense off years, and in a way that we saw them struggle last year, they won't this year? Do you think that's what we're seeing?
Well, I think that Andy, look, Andy Reid is obviously a Hall of Fame coach, and they've won consistently. He's racking up these Super Bowls, but I think if you gave him truth serum, I don't think he would admit it, Rich, but I think it wasn't quite as satisfactory the way they did it last year. I think he wants to go back to what he's been in the high flying days with Deshaun Jackson and the Eagles to what they were with Tyreek Hill early on there with the Chiefs. And go back to trying to be a little bit more dynamic. And, I think that's what they've done, the speed that they've acquired. And it's not just speed, and you've read some of the reports that I've read, and it's not a shock to me, but Worthy's a route runner. He can run every route. He's not somebody that you're just going to have to push vertically. He can get you explosives, on a slant or a dig and then take the ball and go with it. So it's not just, I think people think, okay, you got all these guys you bring over Worthy, you bring over Hollywood Brown. They're just going to try and just chuck the ball 50, 60 yards down the field on top of coverage. To me, I think it's more about just they want explosive plays, whether that comes with the ball traveling in the air or whether that comes with those guys tucking the ball under their right arm and running it after catching the ball, 10, 15 yards down the field. But I do think Andy wants to be more explosive than they were last year.
So in terms of fixing problems from the previous year, although, the Chiefs did very well overcoming the problems that their offense was potentially presenting them. Which team do you feel, now that we've hit August, from draft, free agency, and anything else, have plugged the hole or fixed the problem of 2023 the best entering 2024, DJ?
I'll give you two examples that come right off the top of my head.
Sure.
And they're both teams that had passing defense issues in the back end. The Detroit Lions with Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Those are two really, really good players that they plug into their secondary. The Philadelphia Eagles with Quinion Mitchell, who all reports early on have been awesome on him. And they got to get Cooper DeJean healthy and get him out there. But those are teams that I thought looked at that area. Also, the Eagles moving Bradbury back to safety gives them, some more depth there as well. But I thought those two teams, those were glaring issues for them. And to go chase a Super Bowl, you can't have that that weak spot. And I think both those teams were pretty thoughtful and pretty intent on getting that accomplished. And I thought they both did.
What about offensively? Any team leap out at you? I know we just mentioned the Chiefs and getting faster. Yeah. Any other on the other side of the ball? Any teams that you think really did the job, or at least on paper, and best laid plans, et cetera, but what about on the offensive side of the ball?
I would say the Bears last year to this year is an Ozempic before and after picture when you look at their offense.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, just look at what they've done. When you bring Keenan Allen in there, and you got Swift back there, but obviously the headliner is Caleb Williams. I mean, they've transformed what that offense is going to look like. So they went from being I would just say it, an unwatchable product offensively,
right,
to, man, I sure as heck, if nothing else, I'm very curious to see how this all comes together. But man, they have some fun players to play with on that side of the ball.
Well, and obviously the optimism is sky high for Bears fans who are looking around for the trap door to see where it's going to open. Yeah. And we had Jalen Johnson on the program right around ESPY's time, and he counseled patience, though, to Bears fans. He says this is going to take a while, and obviously I think he was meaning the offensive side of the ball, because we saw his side of the ball gel quite nicely from the middle of the season on. So how read that one out for me, DJ?
Well, I think, look, you don't want to put too much in terms of the expectations on Caleb, and I think their offensive line, there's still some work to do there. We'll see what they look like up front, but Caleb Williams, as you see him smiling in that picture, might be because, if you're worried about the offensive line, he didn't play behind the Hogs last year at USC. So he's got some experience of trying to navigate around some pressure. So that to me would be the one thing I would be, patient on. Let's just see how this offensive line comes together. And there is just going to be a natural adjustment. It's as unbelievable as CJ Stroud was last year, as good as we've ever seen a rookie quarterback. It was still a few weeks in, a month in, before he kind of found his sea legs, and then he obviously took off and put on a show, taking them to the postseason. But there's still, there's a learning curve. You got to be patient with that. I think that's probably what Jalen Johnson's talking about. The good news is, with him and Montez Sweat, some of those other pieces on the defensive side of the ball, hopefully they can help keep them keep them afloat while they're trying to kind of get their sea legs, so to speak, on offense.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.